fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Thursday, June 9th, 2022. As you can see, I am soaked like a drowned rat. Pretty heavy rains, monsoon-like here on Cape Cod as we get ready for the weekend. Thirsty Thursday, as some of you guys like to say in these lanes. Last night, the ECSI VIPs, we go 1-1. We lose a half unit. We did a full game on Giants run line, -1.5, -103. Just me and Scott talked at length how bad Zensatel looked and has looked. And of course, he was Cy Young yesterday. Anemic bats for the Giants. I thought Jock was going to be a hero for me in the 8th, but of course he wasn't. Our half unit first 5 play of the day was the Padres box to wire. I think it was 7-0 after. I think it might have been 11-0 after 5, actually. So nice, easy win there. Just want to touch upon 2 things before I get to Scott. So Scott can keep track of the day baseball as we speak. It's kind of comical. The Celtics last night, strong win. They're up 2-1. They're 4-point favorites for Friday. They'll be 4.5, 5-point favorites probably in Game 6, if there is a Game 6 now. And that's all anyone's talking about in this social media. That's all anyone's talking about on gambling, Twitter, whatever, is Draymond Green. And I had an awakening this morning, and I've come to the fact that Draymond Green's nickname to me now is the deflector. And so let that simmer for a second. What does that mean, the deflector? Well, we're not talking about Steph Curry. We're not talking about the resurgence of Klay Thompson. We're not talking about Poole. We're not talking about Wiggins. We're not talking about Steve Kerr. That's all we're talking about is Draymond Green. And he's doing exactly what he is supposed to do. Put the focus on him. Put the target on him. Boo the bleep out of him. Curse him at Garden. Look like jackasses, by the way, but that's for another story. Yet we're not talking about anything else. The fact that the Golden State has 3 rings, chasing a 4th. And what was their problem chasing these rings the whole time? They never had a rim protector. Never. What did the Celtics do yesterday? They attacked the rim. Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Smart, alley-oops to Williams. They dominated the rim. Yet we're talking about Draymond Green. Guys, if you can't watch an NBA game and understand how the game is called, why watch it? Why? Every 2 seconds, it's the refs. They didn't call this. They called this. How could they call this? Golden State had a 7-point possession. It was the right call. Al jumped out too late. His foot was underneath Steph's. He's lucky he didn't roll his ankles. Yeah, but how can they call that a flagrant? That's what the rules are. They called it by the rules. Yet Celtics Nation is sitting here complaining. I talked about the Heat series, Game 3 and 4 in Boston. You had 40 more free throws in Game 3 and 4 and only split. Again, let's take a step back. You are up 2-1. 4-point favorites on Friday. There are 29 other teams in the NBA that would kill to be where you are. Worry about yourselves. Who the hell cares about what everyone else is saying? Stop blaming the refs. Stop looking for calls. How many layups did Tatum miss? Flopping. I said flopping, that's right. But you see when he took it strong to the rim, he scored and then flopped. All right? You guys right now have the best team in the planet. 2 wins away from Banner 18. Don't worry about the drama. Second of all, the LIV tour and Reed and DeChambeau now flaunt over there. I think DeChambeau got $1 million, and I mean million, 100 million, and I don't know what Reed got. I heard yesterday that this actual LIV tour has $600 billion or something stupid like that. So the fact that I heard Tiger Woods turned down 1 billion would make sense. But the PGA just came out with a statement. I just retweeted it. I think they thought the people running over there now trying to grab the bags is, hey, we can go over there and play, and we still can play in all the majors. And that's all that they want. I mean, if you're walking over there and guaranteed $250,000 just for their parents, never mind your guaranteed money up front, 130, 125, 100 million. I don't know what Patty Reed got. The fact of the matter is, these are no top 5 guys, top 10 guys. Listen, DJ once was number 1, but the fact is, again, they're getting their guaranteed money. If they lose their sponsors, as B2B said, Rob says, they'll just get new sponsors on the Live Tour. So I don't know what the repercussions is. I only know that the PGA can try to slow this down by saying they can't come back and play in the majors. So that's my rant for the day. We do have day baseball. If the internet is a little shaky again, it is pouring out here pretty bad. The T-storms have faded away. So let's bring on Scott from the Palm Tree State. I know he'll be a little calmer than myself. And again, I apologize for the rant, but I try to stay out of the drama. I try to stay positive, yet I can't when I just see the nonsense. And a lot of that is social media. I might just start to spend a lot less time on that, but I have to spend time on that. But I just don't like to talk about a lot of the BS and the nonsense. It's just, listen, if you guys can get the drama out of the life, you'll have an amazing day. So let's bring him in, the one and only Scotty Webb. Morning, sir.
How are you? Sounds like you need some coffee today. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, listen, I get worked up over certain things, but at this point, I don't get worked up over much. And because I feel like a lot of ways, people are people. And I have sat here. Good morning, Billy. I have sat here and did the Webby Words of Wisdom for a month or whatever, and I talked about a lot of things in my life and a lot of ways that I think. And I have learned that you have to do things via influence, not direct confrontation. So I like rants. I like different things. People get worked up over different stuff. But I do realize that to actually make change, you have to influence people. You don't directly make that happen through statements. So anyway, point being is that yes, people are going to bitch about the referees and they're going to complain about this and they're going to complain about that until everybody's face is the color of my hat or whatever the hell color it is. It's kind of blue, I guess. I don't know. But the point being is, that's the one thing I can tell you, as much as anything, is people are soft. People aren't hard anymore. People aren't the same people. They're willing to sit here and go, yeah, woe is me, and then that's okay. Bullshit. Woe is me is not okay. Woe is my team is not okay. All of that stuff is not okay. Control you and make your decisions and do your things and make the best life that you can for yourself, because I don't care what you do. You do. So do it right and do it the way you're supposed to, and be hard. Don't be soft. And there's too much softness going on already. So anyway.
Yesterday in the MLB, I think our eyes were pretty sharp. Again, I get caught up with the spaghetti strainer. We talk about baseball always being that one day early. And perfect example was the Braves. The night before, we had them in the run line, and 13-2 yesterday. We saw the OK Kluber. Something? The Angels fire Madden, in come the Red Sox, the red hot Red Sox. Sox win back-to-back 1-0 games. I mean, you got to feel for the team. What was the Angels' problem? It's been their front end and their back end pitching. They give up 2 runs in 2 days, and they're 0-2 there. Archer, again, you talked about it. Gets up for the games. Cortez finally lays that egg. Good win by Minnesota. Bieber's Bieber, kid. It is what it is. Slider curve. I'm going to throw the 93 mile an hour fastball. It's going to be up. It's going to be wild. But just to let you know, I do have that in the arsenal, 4-0 there. We talked about how bad Urquidy is. The edge to Gilbert. They come out early. They take care of business. Singer had already gone. The San Fran Sensatella. I mean, listen, I had San Fran run line yesterday. I guarantee you they're going to pull the Braves today. Play the San Fran run line today. They'll put up a touchdown today, guys. Trust me.
Hey, here's a note for you on Sensatella. Even after last night's game, okay? So I talked about how many hits he's given up. He's pitched 41 innings. So a good pitcher is going to give up 41 hits or thereabouts. Now that's kind of how it works. And or a little bit less. And a good pitcher is going to have 41 innings, 41 strikeouts. So Sensatella has 41 innings, 67 hits, and 20 strikeouts. He's awful.
We talked about no Alonso, no Marte. Keep an eye on that Mets batting order and lineup on a day-to-day basis. Bassett throws an egg. Minaya comes out strong, 13-2 there. Again, we talked about the edge that Nola had versus Hauser. Shame on me. I had Nola first 5 on the desk. We had gotten beaten the day before on the Phillies first 5. I didn't go back to the well. I should have. Again, they rolled 10-0. What can Alcantara do other than, sell beer, popcorn? I mean, the guy just 9 innings shuts out, and then they go, 2-1 final there.
And extra innings.
And it goes extras is correct. So they had a closed door meeting on Monday on their day off. Per Mattingly, it wasn't pretty at all. But they're winning. So whatever was said took care of business there. It's going to be interesting. We have some day baseball, and we have some listeners and people watching us live today, Scott, that are interested in your take on today's board.
All right. So yesterday, I was 1-1. I played minor yesterday in Cincinnati, and he didn't do so good. But Nola was good for me yesterday, so I split the day. Today, I think there's some interesting things, and I think there's some spots you got to be careful. So where's my little thing at? Let me go back over here.
And just to add one more thing, the Phillies now 5-0 since Girardi has left.
Yeah, that's that thing we talked about, and I talk about it a lot. It's not my job to tell you when the streaks are over. This is not. You just ride them until they're in. Whether they're losing or they're winning or when they start, it doesn't matter. Everybody will jump on these lanes and they go, okay, well, they've won 4 games. They're going to lose today because they've won 4 games. That's bullshit. You win because you're got momentum and you got a good pitcher going for that day. You lose because you have momentum and you don't have good pitchers going that day, or you can't hit. Look at the Angels, right? So it's an interesting way to go. And I like what you always say is, if I didn't start on this train, I'm not going to jump on the train in the middle of the road. So you got to ride it out or don't get on it, right? Because as soon as you get on it, it ends. So you got to keep it going from the beginning. But anyway, the first game today goes at 12:30. And I think this is an interesting game because I think the number's off. So Cincinnati is a pretty big favorite today for what I'm looking at. I mean, they're like minus 135 now or something, and
got down to 132 at Circa, 130 at the Nugget, as high as 138 at DraftKings. I'm sorry, at FanDuel, and 130 at DraftKings.
So let me ask you this question, Jeff, just as a curiosity thing. At the end of the year, who's going to have a better record, Arizona or Cincinnati?
I'm going to say Cincinnati.
I'm going to say it's going to be really close, right? So, I mean, if it's a flip of the coin, shouldn't this game be a little bit closer to a flip of the coin, or are you going to tell me that? Are you going to tell me that Maley is that much better than Davies? Because I'm going to tell you, if you go back and look at their game score for the year, Davies 48. That's not very good. Maley 48. Not very good.
I'm
So
just going to say all year, Melee has been overpriced, especially at home. Vegas has something with Melee in their back pocket. He has been overpriced. When they started out, what was it, 3-22? There were numbers with him pitching at home. I'm like, whoa, guys, what are you seeing that we're not seeing?
yeah, I think he's overpriced today too, and because he's overpriced, I don't want to bet on him. Because my thoughts are this: Davies, he's at a 48. His last time out, he threw an 81. At 81, he ain't gonna do that again. He might not do that the rest of the season. So to get to a 48 that he normally throws, and he's at an 81, to get that balance and that average to come out to the way it needs to come out, there's a likelihood he's going to throw a 45, 40, 35 today. It's not going to be pretty for him. And Maley's probably going to be right around the same 48, 50 that he always is. So in my mind, this game should be more of a pick 'em kind of line, maybe 115, maybe, something like that, 120 at the most. And we're looking at 130s and 135s out there. So I think you're paying a tax on the red. So I'm not paying it. I don't like it. I don't like Davies today. But at the same time that I tell you that I don't like him today, I can't go to the other way either, because I don't think that it's the right scenario. Offensively, the Arizona has 6 guys hitting over 1 more for the week, and Cincinnati has 6 guys hitting over 1 more for the week. So they're kind of right in the same ballpark there. So I'm just going to stay off that 12:30 game.
Yes, 12:35.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I don't know if you got a different opinion on it, but I can't get in that game.
I particularly, the eyes are telling me, overnight it was a 136 at Circa. It's dropped 4 cents. I think the Reds are the play. I'm just not going to pay the tax either. If you want to get cute and try a Melee first 5 minus the hook, try to grab a little plus money, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not going to pay the tax today.
Well, I tried to get in on these games on the strikeout props and some of that stuff too, and the number for Davies is under 4.5 minus 145, and I got him at 3.5 strikeouts today. So that would be the play. I'm not playing 145 to get to that number. And the other one is Melee is over 5.5 at 155, and I got him at 5.3. So I'm not paying 155 to get to that. I'm not doing that either. So I just think this is a game that I sit there and go, oh, this is a game in Cincinnati, and it's the Diamondbacks and the Reds. Okay, 2 guys wear red uniforms. I'll just see which red uniform wins. I'm not even going to bet them. So the next game I thought was kind of interesting too. This is St. Louis and Tampa Bay. I'm like, holy shit, Jeff! Look at that number, 170 or whatever it is. That's a big number for Tampa Bay. Now Tampa Bay's been good, and McClanahan has been phenomenally good. He's a top 10 pitcher this season for Tampa Bay, and I don't mind betting on those guys, but now you got to find a way to bet them. Michaelis, we've talked about, and the last time he pitched, he got bombed. But the interesting thing about Michaelis is he's got a game score of 56 for the season. And his early starts were good. His late starts have been bad. His last 3 starts, 39.7. So under 40, that's not very good. And last time out was a 33. And for the last 7, 51. He's a game score 51. So he's barely better than average. So now I think that's the real Michaelis. I don't, he's not a big strikeout guy. He's a balls in play guy, relying on his defense. So I think that's who he is. And he got off to a much better start than that. Now, McClanahan is a big strikeout guy. He's got amazing stuff. And by the way, Jeff, Yarbrough is now out of the rotation for Tampa Bay because Shane Baz is going to start pitching. This Rays team is just going to hang around and get there. You know what I mean? Like they're going to hang around and they're going to end up winning 90 games or something stupid. Anyway, McClanahan's really good. He's got a game score 62. This is how consistent he is. Year to date, game score 62. Last 7 games, game score 63. Last 3 games, game score 63. Last time out, game score 59. He's just bam, 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 just consistently good. So I think when you sit there and you start thinking about that, you can bet on that. The problem then comes into is, okay, he's left-handed. And you know what I've been talking about with St. Louis. Well, that's changed just a little. St. Louis is now number 2 against left-handed pitching in all of baseball. The new number 1 versus left-handed pitching is the Chicago White Sox. So St. Louis has fallen off a little bit, and this is a really good left-handed pitcher. So I sit here and look at it and go, the Sierra number is 2.0 for McClanahan, and you got a Michaelis number of 4.29. So theoretically, he's 2.5 runs better. 2.5. So, okay, that means you really want to start looking at him on the run line. And then you want to start looking at him on the first 5 innings probably. And he's got a big strikeouts numbers today. But then when I looked at the offense, St. Louis has 4 guys hitting and Tampa Bay has 4 guys hitting. The difference is St. Louis has 8 guys that are negative WAR on offense, and Tampa Bay only has 4 guys who are negative. So there's a little bit better offensive situation there too. My only thoughts when I went to try to deal with this game is I think Tampa Bay wins, but I don't want to get involved in the first 5 innings and pay the numbers. And where's that? I thought it was minus 160 or something. Where's that number at?
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, minus McClanahan in the first 5 innings. Oh, he's only minus 120. So that's not terrible. I mean, I'm okay with that if somebody wants to go pay that minus a half a run in the first 5 innings because I think Michaelis gets hit again. But that's that old saying, right? He's off of 2 bad starts in a row. He's gonna throw a good one. So then you sit there and go, okay, McClanahan's going to throw a good one no matter what, probably. So then you go, okay, let's just stay off of this game. That's kind of my idea anyway. You got any thoughts on that one?
I was the same way. Again, I see the L next to any pitcher against St. Louis, and that means when you try to get cute and go against them versus a lefty, there's an Arenado homer, there's a Goldschmidt homer. I do favor Tampa Bay, as you've broken down. I also think Michaelis might be undervalued here because of the fact that it is McClanahan. It was an overnight number of 165. It's still 165 at circa. I actually wouldn't have a problem if anyone wanted to try to get cute and grab the plus half run even in the first 5. You might get a 0-0, a 1-1, a 2-2, something like that. And under over that is at a flat 7, under minus 120. It's just it's a popcorn game for me, to be honest with you.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at going, okay, I think Tampa Bay wins, but what's the edge, right? I mean, I don't think the edge is as high as it is, but I don't think I want to go bet on the other side either. So that's kind of how I look at that one. Now, the next game I do want to play, and Kopech was really good against the Dodgers, and I bet him first 5, and of course, that was a push for me. And then David Price comes in and gives up 17,000 runs. So then the White Sox win 17,000 to nothing. So that was interesting. Yesterday, I felt pretty good about the Dodgers because, okay, the Dodgers didn't hit the night before, so the Dodgers are going to hit today, and that's kind of what happened, right? So the Dodgers win. So today I'm looking at an interesting game here. Um, so Dylan Cease is one of my favorite pitchers. Now, having said that, he's lost a little bit of favor from a lot of things here down recently. So checking into his numbers and looking at his things, let me tell you why he's lost favor. It's because he can't throw strikes. Okay, well, that's not good if you're going to pitch against the Dodgers. You need to throw strikes, but I will say this: he does get strikeouts. He is the number one strikeout pitcher today in the game. For today's games. I mean, the however many games there are, he's 12.58 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is really high. And but he's got a 6.29 walk rate. So that's not good. So if you're going to back him, you need to understand that he might put some guys on base today. So that's number one. Number two, he has a game score 55 on the season. So that's pretty good. That's not elite. That's not ace. Like ace is number 6. You got to get to 60. So he's at a 55. And his last 7 starts, he's a 53. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's still good. And what's great, he's off of a game score 50, which is about an average game. Now, Anderson on the other side has been phenomenally good, but he's only at a game score 58 for the season. His last 7 starts is a game score 60. His last 3 is a 76. So what's that tell you? That tells you that he got off to a slow start, and he's been ramping up and pitching over his skis. He's about to crash.
Sounds like Martin Perez, his last 7, now 8 starts. He's the exact same numbers. And I want to compare Cease, and you're going to laugh when I say this, almost reminds me of Rondon. And Rondon came out guns a-blazing, and he has been awful of late. And again, this week he was as well. And in comes Cease. We were fortunate. We had Kopech full game there. As soon as last night and this morning I saw the matchup, I saw my eyes gravitating to Cease in the plus money.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at Anderson off the game score 74. I don't think he's going to back-to-back game score 74. And what did we just talk about with the St. Louis game? Somebody has overtaken the best hitting team against left-handed pitchers. And that somebody is the Chicago White Sox. So we got the best offense today against the left-handed pitcher. We got a left-handed pitcher who's in regression ripe scenario. And I think, hey, Cole, how you doing? There's a good comment for you, Jeff. And anyway, so I look at that, and I think that the value on this is on the White Sox. So when I looked at the offense, because you can sit here and you talk about pitching until your face is red or blue or whatever color that you want to go with, but the offense, when you start to look at this and break it down, I like the idea that number one, the Dodgers and all the offense that you think they have over the last 7 days, they got 2 guys that are over one offensive WAR for the week, and they got 5 guys in negative. Okay, well, that's not very good because the White Sox have 1 guy that's hitting and 5 guys that are in the negative. But that makes it about even on the offensive side. So if I don't have to worry about the Dodger offense as much as I used to, and I feel like I've got an edge on the mound today because the scenario that I'm looking at is Cease needs to just throw strikes, and if he throws strikes, I think they're going to win the game. Then I'm in a pretty good spot. Now, here's one thing that I've been trying to teach people, and just recently, because we got a little bit of data here. So I've been looking at day game, night game splits, and I'm looking at SOPS plus numbers. So SOPS plus numbers are offensive numbers against the pitcher from the hitters they face. They're not some kind of ERA type number, but it's based on a great grade of 100. So 100 is average. So for a pitcher, if you get a score of 75, you are 25% better than the average pitcher, an SOPS plus. So holding the other team's offense down is what it amounts to. So Anderson today is a SOPS plus on day games of 56. That's pretty damn good, Jeff. I mean, that's really good. Now, here's the difference. Cease is a SOPS plus of 51 in day games. So that's even better, but just a little bit better. But what stands out is that Cease is a 187 in night games. This son of a bitch is just getting blown up every time he steps on the mound at night. So whatever they got to do something. Maybe they just get, I don't know, some kind of big old spotlight and put it on the mound so he thinks it's a day game when he's pitching at night, because he is not doing something wrong at night games. So I like Cease's ability to pitch these day games, and I think that puts a big competitive edge. So I took Cease today plus the 114. Because I think there's some value there, or I don't remember. What can you get him at higher than that now, or is it still 114?
Plus 114 at Circa, 120 at the Nugget, 106 at FanDuel, 115 at DraftKings right now. So it's flipping around. Depends on if you guys get penny lines, nickel dime lines, or the flat square, 20-cent lines.
So I think that was one of the better plays today, and we'll see how it turns out. And then the next one is Philadelphia against Milwaukee. And again, your job is not to go out here and tell me when Philadelphia is going to lose, because they could win 3 or 4 more games. However, I'm not sure today's the right day. I'm not going to bet against the streak, so I'm certainly not going to get in front of Philadelphia today. So I'm not going to be on Burns. Burns' number is it's a big number today, right? So Burns is minus like 160, 165, 170, somewhere in that neighborhood. And you're going to have to get probably involved in that play if you wanted to on the first 5 or whatever. But Eflin's a game score 81 last time out. So that's not a good promising note for him. He should get hit a little bit today. And what is promising for Milwaukee is Burns had a hiccup. So he had a game score 26. Burns is a game score 62, even with that 26. That's how good he is. And he should be dominant today. So that means you should be looking to try to find ways to bet on Milwaukee. I'm not doing it just because I'm not going to get in front of Philadelphia. And, as soon as I tell you that, he goes out there and he pitches really good. And then something happens with his finger or something. He gets hit by a line drive coming back at him, and they got to take him out of the game. And then you put in a bullpen guy, and then Philadelphia scores 17 runs. So that's how they keep their streak going. So I'm not going to play this game. I think the number's too high. I think you're going to have to play the first 5 innings, or you're going to have to play the run line or something, and you're going to be banking on a team that can't hit. Milwaukee's not hitting. So I'm just going to stay away from that one. And then I think there's only one more day game, right? Or there's 2. I guess the 6:40 games could be called day games, but Gamba, this is that Colorado San Francisco game, and you hinted at it earlier. I'm already on it. I played the San Francisco and Webb on the run line minus 1.5. I played the full game because I'm not afraid of Colorado's bullpen in any way, shape, or form. So I played it minus 1.5, and I got minus 125. It looks like is my number. And Gomber is off a game score 11, so that means you should probably try to support Gomber. But if I told you that Gomber had a game score 42 for the season, his last 3 starts was a game score 26, and his last 7 starts was a game score 39, I think you would understand that Gomber is he's not very good. And the other number that I was looking at, and I don't know if I still got it in front of me or not. Yeah, StatCast. Here we go. So WOBA, I talk about the WOBA number, weighted on base average, and WOBA is very important because it's better than better than batting average. It's better than just an on-base average. It's a significantly important number. And when you talk about pitchers, He ranks, here he is, out of 140 pitchers ranked, he is 118th worst. So that's not very good. That means the offense for the other team is going to be really good today. And what I really liked is that Webb is off a game score of 49, and he's pretty good, and he's been good. And I think that you're going to run into less hits. He's not a big strikeout guy, but less hits. Gomber's going to give up hits, and he's not very good against. He's not been very good against San Francisco. So he's got a game score 34 his last 5 times against San Francisco. So I'm going to take that one too. So I got 2 plays for the day games, which is Cease plus 114 and Webb minus 1.5 and minus 125.
I love where your eyes are. I'm kind of same in the boats with you. Again, we talked about Mailey to start. I'm not going to pay the tax there. I'm not stepping in front of the Phillies, even though the back end, you would assume Hayden will be ready. He blew the game 2 nights ago. Yesterday, Phillies dominant. You would expect a Burns plus offense aggression, uptick. You wouldn't lean Milwaukee first 5 here. I'm not getting in front of them. So I passed there. I woke up this morning, and again, I got bit in the ass with the Braves. I don't come back with them. I'm coming back, ECSI VIPs. I'm coming back with San Fran full game run line. You can bank on that. I just fully expect that to run. The 6:40 game, the Washington Miami. Just going to touch on it. Our goal today, peeps, is to try to get the closing bell around 4:30 today. We'll get into the night games there. But Strasburg's first game out, if there's ever been a guy in Major League Baseball that's been handled with kid gloves, I don't think there's anyone in the history of the game that has been, I don't want to use the word babied, but just with the fragile, the kid gloves than Strasburg. He's made it all the way back. Since that meeting on Monday, Miami's rolling. Rogers versus Strasburg there overnight. Rogers was 126. He's now to 138 there. But back to the day games, we talked about Mikolas. I think the values with Mikolas, it's a popcorn game for me there. McClanahan has been dominant. I, too, love Cease. I'm going to look into maybe a first 5 and full game. Haven't decided. The one thing that does scare me, obviously, is the control and the command. If you are walking guys on the Dodgers, especially the bottom of the order, and then you're getting the Bettses, the Freemans, the Turners, all coming up with guys on base. It just takes one hanger, and it's a crooked number. So that does scare me there as well. Cole, thank you for the shutout. Yes, it was a classic. Me and Dave and the 4-1 call. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it does feel good. The duck boats and parades there for sure. And obviously tonight we'll touch upon the Lightning and Rangers. It's been a home series the whole first 4 games. Obviously, I say a must-win for the Rangers, but they have been down 3-2 before, and 1 on the road and 1 at home, but it was flip-flopped. Right now, Vasilevsky and the Lightning opened at 123, now minus 125 there. So we do have day baseball. Me and Scott in the same page. Same lanes today with some San Fran run line full games. I'm deciding if it's going to be a Cease full game. We had Kopak full game plus the 109. They got 4 runs, and then in came Price, and the price was right, and they closed that one out. So, I'm just going to close with this, Scotty. The Angels have lost 14 in a row now, and Shohei's on the mound. Overnight, they were minus 126, and wrong team's favorite here. I mean, Pavetta has been absolutely rock solid. The Sox have won, I think, 7 in a row. They are now at a season high 30-27. They are just 3 games back of your Rays, and I think they're 3.5 of the Jays. I'm not saying we're going to go out and catch the Yankees, but they're positioning themselves well enough to get back into the mix here. But it's just comical, some of the games and the prices. I mean, everyone's going to be on Cole with the bounce back. against Bundy. You don't know which Bundy you're going to get. Bubik, and we call Bubik the Boob against Baltimore, slight favorites there. And there was one other one, Freed in Pittsburgh, Brubaker versus Freed there. I'm sorry, Atlanta and Pittsburgh. So not the greatest night slates. It'd be nice to get a couple units in this afternoon to maybe find that one hidden gem for the evening, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the most amazing. This is not the most amazing board on here, but here's one note that bothers me, and it's just a note, by the way, so that doesn't mean you have to go bet it. But let me pull it up so I make sure I get the right information. The travel teams on Thursdays are important to pay attention to. So home teams that then go on to new cities. And the only one that I can see that's kind of in trouble here is the Marlins. They travel on to a new city starting after today. And the home team typically is the guy that has to pack up their bags, and they've had a nice stay, and they're like, oh my God, now I got to go away. And they play these games a little differently. So I think there might be a slight way to look here at maybe taking a first 5 swing with Strasburg as a dog. Because Rodgers has not been Rodgers of last year, and he's not been good. And I don't like to bet on guys that come off the disabled list either. So I mean, it's just a whole conflict of all kinds of stuff. But if you felt like, hey, this might be a little bit of a spot, I think it might be, and especially in the first 5 innings. I don't want to match up the Washington Nationals to anybody's bullpen. But anyway, food for thought that these home teams that have to travel to away cities are not very good against the spread, especially if they're a dog. But obviously they're not a dog in this spot. But it's one of those times where you just got to look at that and go, oh, that makes a little bit of sense, because there is true logic to that trend. I don't really like to play trends, so I just throw it out there loosely. So anyway, food for thought.
We're getting positioned for the weekend, guys. Baseball front and center. Saturday will be the Belmont, and with that at 2:00 today, Sean Alvarez will be breaking down the Belmont for Saturday. He was on with us for the Kentucky Derby. He nailed the 2-3-4. Obviously, we did not have Rich Strike at 80-1 on top. Some of our colleagues and friends did when they hit the all button there. A big score there, but we did. Sean did give us the trifecta, $1 paid 66 at the Preakness. I warned everyone in advance that you would not strike it, Rich, like you did at the Derby compared to the Preakness. This one's pretty wide open. There's some clear-cut favorites, so we'll be interested to see at 2:00, guys. Turn those notifications on, what Sean has to say and what his releases are to us for the Belmont. And then on Friday, we will bring back our weekly chat with Dan Alexander in the Premier Lacrosse. Week number 2, Dan crushed it in week 1. We cashed some tickets here. We're just trying to get everyone evolved. Yesterday, Andrew McGinnis, who is a big pucks guy for us for Wager Talk in Canada, we started our weekly debut on the Canadian Football League, and he gave out some leans, some best bets. You can go to him at Wager Talk if you want his 2 best bets as well. But what we're trying to say here, guys, is we're in the lanes of giving out as much education and sports potential winners down the line. And the fact of the matter is they all cash the same. Ping pong, the NBA Finals, the NHL Stanley Cup, the CFL. When you place the wager and you go back to cash, it doesn't matter what sport it is. It all cashes the same. So the less you know sometimes, the better off you are. And we'll only bring out the best of the best in our lanes on our shows to provide that information for you. So we're hoping everyone has a great afternoon. Thank to all the loyal listeners. Without you, there's no ECSI. Myself and Sean will be back at 2. Me and Scotty will be back at 4:30 to wrap up the night games. Drew Linwell investigating in the Stanley Cup game at 8 o'clock as well. So with that, if you are wagering this morning or later this afternoon, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, ask for help. There's an 800 number right there. Why, you ask? Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Mr. Scotty Webb at Webby20MLB, we wished everyone a blessed morning. Have some fun with the day baseball, and we'll see you soon.